What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Kairos Krystle, and today's video is all about long distance relationships. I'm going to share with you 8 habits of a successful, healthy long distance relationship. So, whether you are in an LDR right now or whether you've met somebody but you're not sure if long distance is going to be for you, keep watching and let me share these tips with you today. So, the first tip that I have for you in building a healthy habit of a long distance relationship is pretty much what any relationship is going to take to survive. You got it. Simply communicate and communicate often. It's important that when you're in a long distance relationship, you don't take for granted the times that you have to communicate and actually get to know that individual, because you may not be able to see them face to face and have as much physical interaction as you desire. Build intimacy through the behavior of communication, right? And so here's a tidbit that I have that actually I feel worked for me. It's important in long distance relationships to know each other's schedule, to know when are you free to talk? Do you work the graveyard shift? Are you an early riser and you can't stay up all night long? Do you two live in different time zones and maybe you're 1 hour, 5 hour, 10 hours, a whole day apart? So it's important to know each other's schedule so that you can be intentional about that time of communicating. I'll also give you this. Listen, in today's society, technology can really be our best friend if we use it the right way. So, why not incorporate video calls in your communication? Sure, texting is fine, talking on the phone is fine, but video calls open up a whole new way of us to connect in the digital and virtual space. Video calls help us to see each other's nonverbal cues and our facial expressions as you are continuing to get to know each other. So, definitely, if you don't take anything else away from this video, make sure you communicate, but also use tools available to you to do that well. Let's take a look at the second habit. Now, listen, this you may be saying, how can I build this into a habit? In a long distance relationship, it is important that you visit each other as frequently as possible. This is key, you all. I don't know any adult that really just wants to sit in this space of, I have a boyfriend or I have a girlfriend or we're in this relationship, but we never see each other. What kind of relationship would that be? But here's the thing that you're going to have to learn with this. Visiting each other takes time, it takes planning, it takes finances. And so you want to make sure that you are a proper steward of your time, of your finances, so that you actually can schedule moments where you all come together and physically meet. There's going to be nothing that can replace that physical interaction and that physical bonding that you're able to get in the presence of each other. So make sure, if you are in a long distance relationship, do you know how much PTO time you have, right? Maybe when you have a vacation time, you're able to schedule vacations around the same time together, and you can take turns visiting your partner. Your partner can take turns visiting you, right? So you want to make sure that you do it as often as possible. Listen, when me and my husband were dating, the first trip that he ever took, it was like $55 out to come see me. Now, of course, that was COVID ticket prices. Hopefully, we don't have to have those anymore, but it would be great if we could. But this is why it's important to plan ahead, because you can catch deals and savings that will make traveling a lot more affordable if it isn't affordable for you already. But when you visit frequently, that's when you really have the chance to date and to get to know each other and to try new things with each other and to see, how do we interact? How do we engage with each other? And so one of the ways that you can make this a habit is simply by planning for it. Okay. So if you haven't visited Bay in a while, if you haven't visited your boo in a while, start talking and figuring out when you all are going to set that date. Okay. Let's take a look at our third habit. Now, this is important, whether it's long distance relationship, short distance relationship, right? Make sure that you all are managing your expectations of each other well. That is so important. Even more important in a long distance relationship, because we don't necessarily have the luxury of putting our lives or intermingling our lives together like we would in physical spaces, right? So sometimes one person may have an expectation of the other in the relationship, and it's like, oh well, I've always done it like this, or I've always expected this, or I've any time that I've dated individuals, it's gone this way. And so you cannot take that chance assuming, right, that your partner knows what it is that you need. Do you expect to talk every single day in a long distance relationship, no matter the time? Do you expect for you all to see each other 2 times out of the month, or one time out of the month? These are real conversations that need to be had, but more than that, there are expectations that need to be clearly communicated and also agreed upon. So what are the expectations, knowing that this is a new relationship, knowing that being in a long distance relationship is already challenging? How do we come together and set expectations of what it is that we both want, but also what it is that we both need in the relationship? And so if you haven't already, have that conversation. Be real with yourself, right? But also be real with your partner. And let's see if the two of you can come together and meet each other's expectations. Number 4, one of my personal favorites. Y'all, get creative. Get creative. Listen, there dating in and of itself should be an adventure. It should be new and fresh and exciting. It should be a space of comfort and safety, right? And then it's also a space of, oh my gosh, what the heck am I doing? And that's where creativity comes into play. You can try whatever it is that you want to try. In this day and age, again, technology can be our best friend. We have so many tools, right? We have Zoom and video chats available. We have even now where you can watch a movie together and still be in separate spaces. Maybe getting creative to you is saying, hey, we talk all the time, but why don't I write and send a love letter to you in the mail, right? Why don't we try to do some challenges on our own and then come back together and share those challenges, right? So get creative in your dating. Get creative in the way that you communicate with each other. Get creative even in the way that you express love to each other. So it's important to know each other's love languages, right? How can I serve you today? How can I do physical touch, even if, check this, even if we're in a long distance relationship? Maybe I send you to go get a massage, right? Or maybe I send you an article of clothing that has my fragrance or my scent on it. And so it reminds you of me when I'm not around. Don't let your long distance relationship grow stale. Okay. Let's look at the 5th one. Be honest. It's easier said than done, I guess, for some. But nobody wants to be in a relationship and you have to guess what the other is thinking or worry about what the other is doing. As you are communicating and building that habit of healthy communication, it's important to be honest and upfront. If you had a bad day and something happened, it's okay to open up and talk about that, right? If you have found yourself in a space of not sure what to do with the relationship, or you're worried about an aspect of the relationship, you got to be honest and upfront about it. Open up and share what it is. Also, be honest about the current condition of your life, what's going on in your world. Sure, it was cute when we were 12 years old to talk on the phone and there would be dead air to be like, you still there? Are you up? Are you awake? right? But as we get older, we should feel more confident. We should feel more comfortable with whomever we're building this relationship with to bear it all, to be vulnerable. And sometimes that can be difficult when you feel like you have to do it through a screen or through a device, but it's so worthwhile to make sure that you're being honest with your partner so that nobody is left out in the dark. Habit number 6, stay positive. Listen, long distance relationships are not for everybody. Let me say that again. They are not for everybody, but they actually really can work. But you have to stay positive about it. I remember when my husband and I were dating, and I kept kind of pushing him a little bit because I was like, oh, this is gonna be the time we break up. Up, this is gonna be the moment that it's over. Up, this is gonna be the last time that we talk or whatever. And what was happening was so many emotions. I was just being flooded and overwhelmed with so much. And I really had to work through some personal issues of past relationships and past hurts that kind of hindered me from staying positive, being excited about being in the relationship. Yes, I know you go out and you want your significant other to accompany you to various events, and folks are always asking like, oh, do you really have a babe, do you really have a boy? And it's like, yeah, they're just 1,700 miles away, right? And sometimes that could become very daunting, it could become very lonesome. But I encourage you to stay positive about the relationship. You still can have fun, you still can enjoy it, you still can dream and plan out your future together, and all of those wonderful things that take place in a traditional physical face-to-face relationship. But the key is you got to make sure your mind stays positive about all of the interaction. Now, this doesn't mean just be fake, and if something goes awry and wrong, to stay positive about that. Remember tip number 5, build a habit of being honest. If you're feeling a little like, I don't know if this is going to work, or if you're feeling like, man, I'm just concerned about where our relationship is headed, then it's okay. It's okay to say that. It's okay to give voice to that, but still maintain your positivity if things are going well in the relationship. And then number 7, connect with their family and friends. Some of you may choose to be in long distance relationships for, 1 year, maybe a little bit later, whatever your timeline is going to be. Start to incorporate each other into your day-to-day normal lives, right? So if day-to-day normally, you Fridays are family fun nights, bring your significant other along with you, and just make sure that they have a sense of belonging to your life and not just someone extra, or not just something, hanging off on the side. Okay. Now, I have to let you know that number 8 is actually a bonus tip. Okay. This is one that's near and dear to my heart. So let me share with you what this bonus tip is. And if you stayed so far, do me a favor. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you are enjoying watching this video. But here is the bonus tip. This is the key to long distance relationships, in my humble opinion. And that is, have an end goal in mind. Listen, some folks have long distance relationships for years, and I'm not knocking it, but is that the end goal that you set in your heart and set in your mind before you got all entangled, right? Or all into this relationship? This is so important because oftentimes when we talk about being creative or managing expectations or staying positive, because there isn't the comfort of face-to-face interaction and, kind of going through life with the person that's right beside you, long distance relationships sometimes can fall into this pot of, we're just comfortable talking, we're just comfortable hanging out, And sometimes, to be honest, you forget that that person exists, or you forget that that person is going through life on the other side of the world. And so if you're not intentional about setting an end goal in mind, then what are you really communicating? Right? If you want to be in a relationship, and that just goes back to managing expectations, right? If you guys are just fine dating, if you're just fine communicating and just talking and seeing each other when you can and stuff like that, hey, do you, boo. But if you have a desire for marriage, or if you have a desire for long-term commitment, make that known as you communicate and as you manage expectations. But also just do a check-in. Hey, where is this going? You know that I desire to be married, and ticket prices ain't cheap. Right? So, how long are we going to do the long distance relationship thing? And that doesn't necessarily mean that the next immediate step is marriage. Sometimes the next immediate step is, let me see if I'll move. Let me see if I'll move to where you are in an effort to be closer, and then we can have more of a traditional relationship, right? So there are a lot of steps on the in between, but you should definitely voice what your end goal plan is, and you and your partner should come together and to determine if that's something that the two of you agree upon. So I hope you have enjoyed this video today. I'm excited for the next episode. We're doing a whole series on everything dating, long distance dating, online dating, dating as a virgin, dating as a minister. We're doing an entire series on it. So I hope to see you back. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell so that you're notified every single time that I come on. Listen, remember, you are blessed, beautiful, and loved every single day, and there is nothing that you can do about it. God loves you, and so do I. See y'all later.